welcome to Module 8. The yoga posture we're going to be covering is Bhujangasana Cobra. So for these floor series of postures, we did Locust Shalabhasana for Virgo season, working on the intestines. Then we did Dhanurasana, floor bow, for Libra, which focuses on the lower back and the buttocks and the kidneys. For Scorpio season, we're going to be doing Bhujangasana Cobra, which focuses on putting pressure in the pelvis, on the reproductive organs. And this is also going to have a back strengthening. All three of these yoga postures working in the same organ area, in the same belly and lower back, but with slightly different focus areas. So for Scorpio season, the focus is on fertility, on the regenerative organs, on the way that we release things from a downward movement through the urinary bladder and those organs that release, and in the rectum and the anus and the way that those organs release. Now, sometimes there is a retention that happens there that we usually don't really want too much of a retention. Now, with the uterus, sometimes there can be prolapse, and this also deals with, it's a Scorpio thing. So in that sense, we do want to be able to hold up and retain, hold in, while also having that downward movement of urine and of any kind of shedding that needs to happen in that uterine lining. So let's go ahead and look at, of course, again, here's this book, my favorite for what we're doing in this school, because it shows very detailed descriptions of the positions, the common mistakes that are made, and then gives physical, mental, and energetic benefits of each posture. So for Bhujangasana, let's see, this says, this asana resembles a cobra, increases bodily heat, destroys disease, and by the practice of this posture, the serpent goddess awakens. So in Tantra Yoga teachings, the serpent goddess Kundalini is never asleep. It's never dormant. By virtue of being energy, it's not asleep. In the translation of a coiled serpent, if you think about that coiled serpent, it's constantly, there's a movement that's happening, even if it's just a breath. So with this posture, in that pelvic region, we are focusing on enlivening and activating our own serpent energy, our Kundalini. Not covered in this book and in this chapter, but I want to also mention that there is Kundalini here in the head, which is Shiva Kundalini. It has to do with awareness, stillness, and that cultivation of like the Shiva state. When you see images of Shiva, oftentimes the eyes are closed. There's this complete stillness, which represents that awareness that is calm. It's the field of awareness. Then we have Kundalini Shakti, which is in the pelvis, and this is active. It's fire, it's passionate, it's movement, it's the dance of the goddess. So in all of what we're doing with our body, we want to have these two things merging and dancing together. There is not one we're trying to reach this up and out and avoid the lower Kundalini. And we're also not fully focused on this lower, not lower in the sense of below, but lower in the sense of proximity that it is in the pelvis. So let's go ahead and look at these physical benefits. The arching of the spine increases flexibility, rejuvenates spinal nerves, and brings a rich blood supply. Massages and tones the back muscles, stretches the thoracic region, and expands the rib cage, bringing relief from breathing problems. Gentle pressure on the abdomen massages all the organs, helps to relieve utero, ovarian, and menstrual issues. And they're not mentioning anything about men, that you don't hear any, but it's also helping men with any problems that they're having in their utero, prostate, in their pelvis, things that might be going on in their pelvis, because we're putting pressure in the pelvis. It's giving a wringing out. And then when we release the pressure, all fresh blood supply goes to that area. The mental benefits: demands considerable concentration and therefore strengthens your ability to concentrate. The energetic benefits: stimulates energetic flow to the lung, stomach, kidney, urinary bladder, and the spleen meridians. Awakens Kundalini. Kundalini is never sleeping. Potential spiritual energy. Okay, so when it says awakens Kundalini, it has in parentheses, potential spiritual energy. Well, your Kundalini is always awake, and you are a living potential of spiritual energy. Spiritual, sexual, creative energy. You always are your life force. It's just the amount of repression and things that you put down on top of your life force that's really determining how alive you allow yourself to be. But Kundalini is awake. Bhujangasana produces body heat. So let's go ahead and get into posture. So we're going to be lying down on the floor. I'm going to just move my camera